Down here at the bottom left, a member of the team I am. He's not false. Instead, he is.
I am true.
There he is. Incredible miracle. Saranghae, I love you. That was terrible pronunciation by me.
Saranghae.
Top right, a member of the team ZeNEX. He is known as
ZeNEX Core.
He's going to be doing a Forge Fast Expand. The cool thing about doing a Forge Fast Expand on this map is that if you scout your opponent quickly, as he's already sent a pylon scouted, if you scout your opponent's going for a hatch first and you do a pylon wall off, you can stop his hatchery. So it's great to make that Forge because then you can make your Nexus. But if you're lucky, if things go well for you, if you block that hatchery off, you can go for cannons there. It makes your opponent very frustrated. It's almost impossible to win a game in that scenario if you don't block the pylons from going up.
Yeah, and there are a lot of options to make hidden expansions in this map. The issue is your natural third, you have to destroy the rocks before you can take it. So if you get blocked at your main natural expansion, it's very difficult to then go and get a third that you're able to defend at all.
Exactly, that's the main reason why I'm saying it's almost impossible. Plus, if you don't have a drone out there, and oh, he's going to go for it anyways. Oh no, he messed up! Oh. And now his probe's on the wrong side.
So that mess up only cost him 25 minerals. It's not that big of a deal.
He does have a second probe. And this actually may make True actually feel really good until he sees the second probe. He's going to make some spines. Now, he did go for a Speedling Expand. You can still do this against a Speedling Expand. It's just not it's not a free win, essentially.
Yeah.
But even so, he was able to get this off, and this is going to be very difficult for True to deal with.
Very interesting play here by Core. He's going to get up 2 photon cannons. Once the first one gets up the wall, he's going to be safe until the spine crawlers are within range of this pylon wall.
The problem with that even is that he can kind of re-wall. Unless he spreads some creep, he's not really going to be able to hit. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure he can actually hit that wall with that spine crawler he's got now. He might be able to reach the lowest pylon, and no, he cannot. So he actually cannot reach that. And if he tries to move it forward, all sorts of different things can happen. It's going to be very difficult for him to recover from this.
Yeah, this is going to make Core feel very, very confident. He is able to do anything behind this. He can keep the pressure on, or he can go for an expansion because there's no way that there can be any sort of counterattack until that wall goes down, or it gets up to a layer. It
looks like he may try to follow this up with some aggression. He's not making a Nexus. He's made a Gateway. Hasn't taken his gas yet. There he goes. He's taking that gas right now. He may try to follow this up with a 4-gate, which is actually a really, really popular follow-up to this build. This Queen's going to come over here and try to hit this pylon, but unfortunately just barely cannot outrange the cannon.
Yeah, but now does have enough energy for a creep tumor. He hasn't put it down quite yet, but once he gets that down, he can move his queens up quickly, and he can also move that spine crawler up within range of those pylons, but not within range of the photon cannon.
He is getting a Roach Warren as well, so he wants to be very aggressive after he breaks out here, and normally that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I mean, you can't really try to come back from being this behind, especially if your opponent had made a Nexus. Now, as far as scouting information goes, True has absolutely no idea what's going on. He doesn't see the Cybernetics Core. He doesn't know if there's a Nexus up. He probably assumes there's a Nexus. But in this case, this is going to be a Cybernetics Core. A ton of Speedlings popped out here. He actually canceled that Roach Warren and has made a Baneling Nest. This wall going to fall pretty soon. He's going to remake a pylon here, which doesn't really make that much sense to me.
Well, he's going to make sure that if Banelings do come, or if a lot of really strong units come immediately, those first pylons aren't important at all.
He needs to re-wall this, though, because the second this pylon dies, those lings are going out, and here they come, attacking these cannons. He has invested a lot in this attack. He's losing a lot of lings. That's why I'm saying if in this situation, if he hadn't made that second pylon, it wouldn't have really mattered. It was just a silly investment.
Yeah, he could have actually just done a run by immediately. He didn't need to kill those pylons, or didn't need to kill those photon cannons immediately. But the thing is that he would have only been a few seconds ahead, and Core still has the time to be able to make that wall off at his natural.
Indeed. There is a cannon going up. The wall up has completed. There's going to be a sentry out here pretty soon. He's going to make some Banelings to try to bust this, most likely. A Stargate has come out and the Nexus has been made, so he's not going to follow this up with a 4-gate. Yeah, right now,
it's interesting to see that this wall off, it required an investment from Core, so that delayed all of his tech. But the thing is, it delayed the expansion of True, so it delayed more mining and more larva from True. But after that wall was taken care of, this turned into a very similar game to a Forge Fast expansion from the Protoss player, just a little bit delayed.
Force fields against the Banelings. The Banelings trying to bust through the force field. That was really badly done. I can't even say anything else. If he had sent all of his banelings on one structure, instead of just trying to force his way through the force field, that could have gone a lot better. He lost just 2 or 3 banelings there, and he wasn't able to bust that core down. Yeah, that was a really nice force field by Core. He was able to put the force field right after the first baneling hit. So one baneling was lost, so he couldn't go through the cybernetics core, but the rest of them couldn't get in to actually push through the wall. And that probe does fall here. The destructible rocks falling as well. Few sentries out. Void Ray. We do have the Void Ray coming, and there isn't any sort of defense quite yet for Iron True. However, he does know the timing to this. He does have an Overlord ready to scout and know exactly what's going on. So once this does get scouted, I think that Iron True is going to have the time to get the counter. Yeah, I mean, he's making another gateway back at home. He hasn't gotten any upgrades to that Forge just yet. I think what we're going to see maybe is he's just going to use this Void Ray to put on some pressure, clean up Overlords, and stop this third hatchery that we'll get a shot of here in a second. And after that, he's going to follow up with a bunch of gateways, as you can see there. He's going to probably go up to 5 gates. He's going to get +1. There's the +1 researching now. And this Void Ray is just being annoying, cleaning up these Zerglings, making sure they're not controlling the middle of the map. Clearing those out. It's like a vacuum cleaner, cleaning up little dust particles. There's a lot of them, but eventually, you know, they go away. And there's a couple sentries here, not too many. He needs the gas for the other units, the Void Ray and the rest of the tech that he needs. But enough that if there were any sort of baneling aggression, a second time he would have the force fields. He can also use those sentries to kill any sort of scouting overlords that are trying to come in and see exactly what's going on. Meanwhile, True only has 1 queen out here at the expansion. He is moving his defensive structures to the main choke to be able to defend against any sort of aggression from the gateway, although he knows that's not coming quite yet. It's really just preparing for the future. Indeed he is. That Overlord scout denied there. Was not able to see. Actually, I take it back. He was just barely able to see those gateways. That's very important. He doesn't know exactly how many gateways there are, but he's going to be prepared for this type of aggression. He's already started Roach production. Void Ray is going to run in here. He's going to see that lair timing. It may take out this queen because there's only 1. Second queen comes to defend, but will she be there in time? She will not. This first queen will go down. However, it will chase this Void Ray away. It might actually kill the Void Ray. The Void Ray is dead. All right, that's actually a very bad trade for Core to make in this situation. He takes out 1 queen, but at the expense of a very expensive unit. And we do have 2 banelings morphing in here. They have a huge potential of doing a lot of damage. They are going to get in. They aren't seen quite yet. There's no movement from Core, and a lot of drone or probes do go down. Not as many as
yeah, he could have done a lot better than that.
A lot of them are very, very hurt, though, so if Mutalisks are followed up in any sort of way, or there's some other aggression that can happen, then they will be taken out quite easily.
This is true. Those rocks finishing up here. It looks like he's not going to go for a timing attack. Rather, he's going to make a Nexus here. Twilight Council finishing up as well. Burrow and Roach Speed on the way. He is going to do a timing attack, but it's not going to be the timing attack that hopes to end the game. It's going to be the one that tries to cancel the third.
Yep.
Of course, the third is already done.
But that's actually better for Core. If he can get in there and destroy the third, that is better than just canceling it altogether. The Roaches are going to move out here. There's a very nice creep spread here by True, so he's going to be able to put on a lot of aggression to these Stalkers and force them to back off a little bit. He also is able to get vision from these creep tumors and see that the pylon is going down right at the edge of the creep.
He's got a lot of units here, but I don't think this attack is going to work. He may be able to take out the hatchery, but it's going to be a huge investment. I don't like the idea of it. That pylon will fall. Stalkers are spotted here in the middle of the map. Some sentries even might possibly get caught. All of his units kind of in different little groups.
And as you're saying, this third is completely undefended. It is going to go down quite quickly before the Roaches come in. However, the Roaches are going to kill the reinforcements that are coming from Core. It's actually a really smart move. He can't take on the straight-up army right now for the Protoss players. So True is just trying to dwindle down the army as much as he can.
Yeah, right now, supply-wise, he is behind about 20 supply. But even so, he did kill the hatchery. That's a lot of production loss. There's no mining there anymore. I'm kind of surprised the Roaches didn't predict what was going to happen. He did take out some of those reinforcements. He could have held the army off because Burrow and Speed finished right around the time that attack was coming.
Yep.
He should have been able to deal with it, but he just basically decided, I can't go there now. I'm going to pick out some reinforcements, which ended up being the better choice in that scenario. Meanwhile, the third base of Core is coming up here. It's about halfway done. He's making a Dark Shrine to try to control the map with those DTs. These Roaches are going to come over here, try to force the cancellation of that Nexus, but they will not be there in time.
Yeah, both players are just trying to delay the economy of their opponent while they both go for the higher tech that they're trying to get. The Roaches are trying to get their further upgrades, get that burrow movement, get the regeneration that they can get without losing too many of them, so that when the fight does happen, which is looking like it's going to happen right now, however, there is burrow, but not burrow movement quite yet. He's got another 20 or 30 seconds on that. Once that finishes, he's going to be in a good position. However, there is a cannon coming out here as well, which can detect these burrowed units. And then once they're seen, it's going to be very difficult for them to move. Some Roaches going to reinforce. Once they all get there, these armies are going to be very, very even. It's all going to come down to micros depending on what's going on here. Nice force fields coming out here for core, but these photon cannons are going to be extremely strong.
Yeah, he's trying to target down these cannons, but unfortunately, they're just going to finish in time. And these Roaches are running in here.
Yeah, the Roaches are pushing in. They are going to try to do a lot of damage. They're trying to burrow in, but the photon cannons do see them, so it is very, very difficult for them to see exactly what's going on. They are dying down very, very quickly. The Protoss army is doing the exact job that it needs to. Once this army gets cleaned up, it's going to be very difficult for True to reinforce and be able to take down the third of ZeNEX core.
But during all of this, DTs have arrived, and he just GG's. I mean, all of this was going on during that attack. A lot of different things were going on for me as well. We had some technical difficulties, but the DTs came in, they killed a ton of stuff, and that attack just did not work. It would have worked if he had just continued to attack instead of like just picking off the cannons and burrowing again, picking off the cannons and burrowing again, because there was just no robotics tech at all. He didn't have the robo done, and those cannons were basically all that was going to stop him. And then the DTs, of course, came into play as well. We didn't actually get to see a lot of what was going on with those because we had some technical difficulties, as I was saying. But I'm sure that, I mean, when I got a shot of that base finally, all the drones were gone. I don't know what was going on, but I think that it was GG. The GG was there, of course, imminent.
So True tried to break in on the third. It was a very nice choke made there by Core. He had the exact units he needed. He also had a lot of energy saved up on his sentry, so he was able to keep the Roaches away like you were talking about until there was that bird movement. But once the bird movement finished, the cannons finished almost at the exact same time. It was really, really good timing for Core. And as you were saying, in the battle itself, Core was doing a great job. He was going to hold no problem. But meanwhile, he had those DTs in the base of True, and those are the ones that really finished the game. If they weren't there, the game would have been about even. The Zerg player would have had to back off and then rebuild its army, but there's nothing to rebuild with.
It's so weird because everything went right for True.
Yep.
If he had just kept attacking the Nexus burrowing, the Nexus would have been gone, then he could have just left. And, you know, some of his Roaches would have got force fielded probably, but burrow movement would have finished. He could have left really easily, come back home. If he had dealt with the DTs, then he would have been in a great spot. It's actually a position I find myself a lot in PvZ, where those Roaches come with burrow, and I'm like, oh, no observer. And I'm like frantically trying to make the cannons, but with good control, you just can't stop it. So I thought that was a little bit strange, but we are going to see who IM picks next. Who's it going to be?
Yoda.
Yoda
IM.
I like
one of their stronger Terran players that is not MVP. MVP actually hasn't gotten any playtime yet this season, but always there to be used if they need him.
So, obviously he made it to the round of 16 in Code A. Went 2 wins and 2 losses. That's not very telling. He ended up using a lot of mules in his games against Min. That's something he's been known for. Yeah, pretty solid player, though.
He uses a lot of different strategies to be able to try to get the most efficiency he can out of his units. This map will be on dual site, so I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see here today.
Well, dual site is a map that doesn't have that many bases. It's relatively small. The Rush Distance isn't small. It's not like Steps of War small or like Close Positions Metal small, but it's a medium-sized map for Rush Distance. There aren't very many bases. It's very similar to Metalopolis, actually. There are gold bases. There's not that many bases overall. There's hidden bases you can take, but not that many. We're going to take a 2-minute break, though, guys. When we get back, we're going to see the next game between IM and ZeNEX here on GSL Venus week number 3.